Yo, Measure Too Hot here, back with another video. And as we go past the All-Star break and we reach the second half of the NBA season, we look towards the next big date for the NBA franchises, which is the trade deadline. With this, a lot of teams will decide whether they want to buy or sell, whether they want to look to increase their odds of a playoff push to get in the definite spots instead of being the play-ins, or whether they want to trade their assets away in case they want to tank or reset their team in general. So I'm just looking at some teams that do need to sell or buy at the trade deadline and look at what they should do from there. So the first team that I'm looking at is the Golden State Warriors, and I believe that they should buy at the trade deadline. With this team, they've currently got a record of 19-19, and they're 9th in the Western Conference. And with a team like Golden State, while they did have Clay out for the season, a lot of people did wonder where this would leave the team. And the reason for this is when you have a player like Steph Curry, as much as the offensive threat that he is, when you look at the teammates that he does have, other than Draymond, who isn't exactly providing an offensive effort at the moment, they do have James Wiseman, who has been playing all right for a rookie, but Kelly Oubre and both Andrew Wiggins had a very poor start to the NBA season, which was mediocre with their outside perimeter shooting. Someone like Nico Mannion or Eric Pascal, while they are somewhat NBA players, they aren't exactly players that you would want to be playing a high level of basketball that would require you to make a big playoff run. And while the team does have the 6th ranked defense, it is clear to see in the offense that this is a team who cannot provide a lot of shooting and a lot of perimeter offense that the Golden State Warriors would usually do in the past. So when you look at trades that would be available for the Warriors, one of them is Victor Oladipo, who is playing for the Houston Rockets. Since being traded to them in January, Oladipo has averaged 19.9 points, 4.9 rebounds, 4.7 assists and 1.4 steals, and is shooting 38% from the floor. And when you look at a player like Oladipo, he would be able to provide everything that the Golden State Warriors need. For the fact that he is a threat from the perimeter, he can create his own shot, and he is also able to provide offense for others. So once Steph would go off the floor, someone like Oladipo could provide the offense that the Golden State Warriors need, and someone who could be the lead guy when Steph goes off the floor, which has been seen as one of the problems with this team. Next up, I do have the Orlando Magic, and I think that they should be selling at the trade deadline. With a team like the Magic, while they did make the playoffs last year, what they'd done inside the bubble hasn't exactly been replicated now that we're in a new season. And you can see the fact that while they did play well for the first few games of the season, with performances from Cole Anthony and Markelle Fultz, when Fultz tore his ACL, this was part of a huge implosion for the team and has led them to where they are right now. And with the team, this current era of Magic basketball hasn't exactly been a success in a lot of people's eyes, and from there, they do need to just push the reset button. And when you look at the players that they do have, there is a lot of assets there that they could be involved in a trade with the likes of Nikola Vucevic, who is a multiple-time All-Star, and Aaron Gordon. You both have young talents who would be able to be pieces in a even championship team or a team that does go in a deep playoff run. And when you look at the likes of Evan Fournier and Terrence Ross, both of those two players are two guys who could provide offense to, again, championship teams and provide perimeter shooting and playmaking to teams who do need that. Looking at another team that will most likely try to buy at the trade deadline is the New York Knicks. And with the Knicks, they are, in many people's eyes, the surprise story of the season, with the fact that with the Knicks, everyone just perceives it to be perpetual in the basement house of the NBA. But with the new front office with Leon Rose and World Wide Wes, and bringing in Tom Thibodeau to be their head coach, the Knicks have really surprised a lot of people, especially myself, with what they've done. They've got a 20-19 record. They're 7th in the East, and they do have a 4th ranked defense. But the problems for the New York Knicks do come in their offense, with them being ranked 23rd in offense and 29th in 3-point attempts and 3 points made. So with the Knicks, the most likely thing and the thing that should be paid attention to is that. So in the trade deadline, I think that they should be looking for a guard who can either create offense, someone like Lonzo Ball, or someone who is able to shoot the perimeter shot at an efficient rate, which is JJ Redick. And I think with either of these two players, it would be able to hype the offense a bit more and take the pressure off of Julius Randle, who has been an all-star this year and has been the best player on the team. So having either of those two on the team would be able to allow them to space the floor and provide some either perimeter threats or some playmaking threats, which would allow the team to become more efficient on that end. And when you look at the Knicks, they do have assets that they would be able to trade depending on what team they were looking to deal with. If it was a team that would want young assets, then they do have the likes of Frank Ntilikina and Kevin Knox. Or if it was a team that was more likely to be in championship contention, then they could trade some veterans their way with players such as Reggie Bullock, Alex Burks and Elfrid Payton. With a trade like this, it would be something important for the Knicks just to improve upon their shortcomings, as once it gets to the playoffs and the offense slows down, if a team is that poor from shooting the perimeter threat, it will make things a lot more difficult for the fact that the spacing will be poor and it won't provide Julius Randle with the things that he needs when we work in a much more slower offense that is transition based. Looking at the next team, and this is a team that I feel should sell at the trade deadline, is the Houston Rockets. With the Rockets, they've got an 11-25 record, which has been an extreme failure. With them, they haven't really provided everything that they think they should have in terms of when James Harden did leave and Steven Silas was brought in. When you look at the players that they do have with the likes of Victor Oladipo, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins and Christian Wood, they haven't exactly provided what everyone thought they could. And I think from there, they do need to have a complete reset of the team, especially for someone like Tillman Fertitta, who is always upset with money. And I think good for them would be to get out of the luxury tax. So with that, I think most of the players that they would be trading would be either Victor Oladipo, who they did get in the trade that they done earlier this season, or PJ Tucker, who has been one of the veterans of the team. So with players like that, I think that they will try to move them, and most likely would be to contenders, as those two players would be able to provide impact. So if it was a trade with the Lakers, for example, getting someone like Taylor Horton-Tucker for PJ Tucker, or if it was Victor Oladipo, getting a trade that may involve someone like Eric Pascal and Smalajic, would be a good trade for those players, just getting assets in return to just start with the reset for this team, as this is something that they desperately need just to reset the whole culture since both Hart and Daryl Morey left. On the other end, looking at a team that I do feel should buy at the trade deadline is the Charlotte Hornets. Another surprise of the season. Wow, a lot of people did sleep on LaMelo Ball and the skills that he did bring to the NBA. While I did think that he would do well, I thought that he was quite raw and it would take a while for him to develop. But that is contrary to the case, as the team has performed really well, and since starting, LaMelo has really shown why he is one of the best young players in the league at the moment. They have a 19-18 record and they're 6th in the Eastern Conference. And while they do have a 18th ranked defense, their offense is ranked 15th in the league. So they're just about bumbling around that middle point, which can be seen in their record, which they win some, they lose some. So depending on what the Hornets want to do, if they do want to look towards building now and starting getting ready to build around LaMelo, and one of the trades that could be interesting for them is a trade for John Collins. With someone like him, he has been upset in Atlanta for a long time, and being able to use some assets to get him out of there would be something that would be great for the team, as John Collins isn't a scrub. He's someone who can score 20 and 10 easily. A big thing for the team, as they could use him as another piece to build around. But if they wanted to be a bit more quicker, someone like Victor Oladipo, who we previously have discussed, would be a great trade for them. Or someone like Nikola Vucevic would be another great trade for them as well, as this is a player who is an all-star and would be able to bring some constant offense to provide spacing for LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier, and being able to use him with a pick and roll with LaMelo would be something that would be very great for the team, and the fact that both of them can pass the ball and both of them can shoot the free at a reasonable rate. So it would be something that would be great for the team. But that's the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you feel that these are teams that I was right about, I was wrong again. Now I just want to hear your feedback. Follow my socials in the description, and peace.